Certain skills require an impressive amount of dedication and practice to master, like being a concert pianist, speaking fluent Japanese, or plugging in a USB cable the right way up first time. Other skills, however, are so basic that you can pick them up just by existing without any kind of special effort required, like blinking or existential dread. That's not always the case in video games, however, which sometimes make you sit through a tutorial, spend a skill point, or use XP to unlock the sorts of things that really you should know how to do anyway. What the hell, protagonist?
The caveman. Switch to walk and get back on your board. Try it out a few times.
Here are 7 more video game skills we can't believe we had to unlock. Enjoy!
Unless you're a YouTuber with traffic targets to hit, reacting to things should come naturally. If something sad happens, you react with sadness. If you drop a microwave oven on your foot, you react with pain. If you get into an argument with a stranger online, you react with kindness and an open mind. All very natural and human. Not so if you're a human in Animal Crossing, however, who apparently turns up at Tom Nook's Fire Festival Island getaway totally devoid of emotion, like some kind of cyborg sent back in time to teach us how to get stuff out of rocks. The only way these tiny emotionless robots can learn human feelings is by talking to the animals who live on the island with them, and who are apparently living in constant service of an ever-changing buffet of wild mood swings and uncontrollable emotion, and only too happy to drag you into their drama with them. That is how you learn such useful but apparently non-intuitive emotions such as curiosity, being sleepy, and of course the old favourite, crying. That'll come in handy. Some of these you really have to wonder how your villager was doing without. Like, did you not already know how to sneeze? What have you been doing instead this whole time? It's deeply weird, but it is what it is, I suppose. If only there was some reaction that could convey what I'm feeling. Ah, there it is. Thanks, Marshall.
Let me guess. You came here to ride where it all began. Where all the legends got started, right? Alva, Mullen, Tony Hawk.
How do you know about those guys?
Look around you. These are all runaways who came out here for the same thing. Except they're good. If you want to survive out here, you better get some skills. Quick.
Who's gonna teach me? You?
No, but they might.
As countless hours of candid footage of people with wallet chains shattering their pelvises on staircases can attest, skateboarding is not an easy skill to pick up. Particularly the kind of skateboarding you see in the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater games, with its Benihanas, Christ airs, and ludicrously long grinds along things that couldn't possibly support the weight of a human body. Some things, however, you'd expect to come naturally, such as the bit at the end of the skateboarding where you decide you've done enough skateboarding and want to get off and use your feet to get around instead. Not so, apparently, according to Tony Hawk's American Wasteland, where dismounting your skateboard is an actual trick that you need to be taught how to do. At least you are taught it early on in the game, which begins with your skater character getting on a bus to head to Los Angeles, a notoriously insular small town that keeps itself to itself and is famously unwelcoming to outsiders.
Hey, go back to Kentucky, farm boy! Locals only!
After giving yourself an LA makeover, you meet this guy who is willing to teach you his incredible skateboarding techniques. The most important of these being the mythical caveman.
The caveman. Switch to walk and get back on your board. Try it out a few times.
The caveman, it turns out, is just a fancy way of saying getting off your skateboard.
Switch to walk and then grind again.
How is the getting off the board the trick and not the grinding along the velvet rope?
So, will you introduce me to Mindy?
All right, follow me.
Still, now we've learned the incredible power of the caveman, we're all set. Might just stick with that, actually. It's a lot easier than skateboarding.
We will find you in your sleep! Sleep. I never sleep. I just wait in the shadows, and I will kill you all!
Throughout the Assassin's Creed games, much has been made of the amazing skills of the members of the Assassin Order, from their unparalleled ability at freerunning and parkour, to their supernatural eagle vision, to their ability to jump off incredibly high things and land in 3 feet of leaves and not die. Assassin's Creed Origins, however, takes place at the very beginning of the Assassin's Order, and as such, it's only fair that we have slightly lower expectations for the kind of skills we're going to see being employed. After all, they're just getting started here, right? It takes generations to learn how to turn invisible when you crouch. Even so, I think it's a bit much that Bayek, legendary assassin, last Medjay of Egypt, and founder of the Hidden Ones, needs to learn how to fall asleep. The skill in question, called Dawn and Dusk, lets you fast forward time, switching between day and night. Different things happen at different times, people and animals behave differently, and there are even some missions that require it to be a particular time, so it's a useful skill to have. It just seems somewhat unlikely that Bayek, a supremely capable Olympic-level athlete who can perform any number of incredible physical feats right from the get-go, is incapable of sitting down and nodding off without expending a skill point, and presumably being told how to do so by some kind of napping instructor. If Bayek has never slept before, however, it would explain how he's found so much time to get stuff done. Me, I'm useless before 10 AM, and don't ask me to assassinate anyone before I've had my coffee.
May the Hidden One walk beside you. The Lord of the Duat awaits.
Anyone who's played a Zelda game will know that you spend 75% of your time smashing pots. It doesn't matter if these pots are in a dungeon, out in the open, or in someone's house directly within the owner's eyeline. If it's made of pottery, and Link has a sword or 2 free hands, that pot is getting smashed. Sorry about it. Zelda games are set across many worlds, timelines, and even planes of reality, but the one thing that remains constant across all these different settings is that some earthenware is going to get effed up. Except that is for The Legend of Zelda the Minish cap for the Game Boy Advance, a game in which Link has to learn how to smash pots with his sword, a concept that is as ridiculous as Guy Fieri having to learn how to take a giant bite of an enormous hamburger and then list its ingredients to the person who made it. Throughout the Minish cap, Link can learn exciting new sword techniques from Swiftblade, a master swordsman who operates out of a dojo in Hyrule Town. Most of the techniques Swiftblade teaches you are things that you do instinctively in other Zelda games, but that, to be fair, would probably require some instruction if most people were to try them, like firing energy out of your sword blade or the classic spin attack. One technique, though, known as the Rock Breaker, really seems like the sort of thing you should be able to figure out on your own. Even the Swordmaster seems kind of embarrassed about having to teach it to you. Yeah, think I've got it. Thanks, Swiftblade. Bear in mind that up until this point we have encountered tons of pots, and it never occurred to Link that he could break them by hitting the pots with the big piece of solid metal he carries around at all times, and whose sole purpose is hitting things. Despite how easy it is to break pots, Swiftblade clearly thinks so little of you that he insists that the only way for you to learn is for him to possess you and do it himself first, so you don't screw it up. Before you finally get a chance to try it yourself. Can't help but feel like he's patronising me. Alright, Swiftblade, I get it, jeez.
I'm not saying running isn't hard. It's tiring and sweaty and makes your everything hurt, and also takes place outside where the bugs and weather are. The actual mechanics of running, however, should be pretty straightforward to anyone who can already walk. It's just a slightly faster version of the same movement, and also occasionally you have to talk about split times or do those stretches where you put your leg up on something.
This one's all set.
Apparently, however, in the Pokemon universe, running doesn't come naturally to people at all. You can walk, and that's it, until you find someone who can teach you the incredible power of doing that, only quicker. The way this teaching is done is by the wise elder bestowing upon you a pair of running shoes which grant you the gift of being able to move about twice as fast as you do while walking, but still slower than you would be on a bike. It's the shoes apparently which confer this speed upon you, so I think we have to assume that whatever you were wearing beforehand was really slowing you down, like some towering stiletto heels or possibly large blocks of concrete. Make tons of sense, but then let's not forget that this is the Pokemon series in which a bird Pokemon who has been seen repeatedly flying during combat has to learn the move Fly in order to be able to fly. I haven't taught any of them how to breathe either, should I be worried?
Silence! Shadows, kill her!
Whistling isn't hard, you just put your lips together and blow. No, that's not it. So how do you whistle then? Well, regardless of my own technical issues, whistling is considered to be fairly low tier as far as musical instruments go. That's the reason you can't study whistling at music school, why there are no whistlers in the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra, and why Wind of Change by Scorpions is only considered the third best song of all time. If sci-fi action RPG Horizon Zero Dawn is to be believed, however, whistling is in fact extremely difficult and the sort of skill that someone can only pick up through study, determination, and the expenditure of a precious skill point. Known in-game as Lure Call and located in the Forager skill tree, Horizon Zero Dawn does a good job of making whistling, a normal mouth sound that any child can make, seem like some kind of esoteric skill known only to cool, futuristic hunter-gatherers. That being said, I really can't stress just how much this skill is just crouching in some grass and whistling. Yes, it does lure enemies towards you so you can eliminate them stealthily, but so would, say, shouting, or holding up a sock puppet. I'm just saying, Horizon Zero Dawn, I shouldn't have to spend a skill point to learn how to whistle. Unless the end of the game is me joining Scorpions and playing Winds of Change on stage at the Rock Am Ring Festival. In that case, I get it. You can't half-ass something like that. Fingers crossed for Horizon Forbidden West.
Let's see if this thing still works.
2013's Tomb Raider reboot changed a lot about the iconic character Lara Croft, portraying her as a younger, more inexperienced adventurer who owned a pair of full-length trousers. It also gave her a new weapon in the form of a bow, because video games had moved on from the point where it was considered realistic to have the main character accurately firing two guns simultaneously at a moving target while doing somersaults. The bow is great, not only because it's silent, deadly, and made from reclaimed materials,
Wait, I can use that bow.
but also because it lets Lara hunt deer in the early part of the game, a necessity for survival that really challenges her as she learns that she has to take other lives to survive in this harsh new environment.
Sorry.
Don't worry, the angst doesn't last long.
Run, you bastard! I'm coming for you!
The problem with the bow is that ammo can be quite scarce. Now I know what you're thinking, couldn't Lara just pick up her old arrows? You know, pull them out of whatever deer or human skull they end up in, give them a quick rinse and then reuse them. You'd think so, wouldn't you? And yet this is a skill that Lara actually has to unlock, nestled firmly in her survivor upgrade tree.
Like this all along.
Only by spending a skill point can Lara realise that an arrow is not a single-use item, and pick them back up after she wangs them into someone's face. Sure, Sure, it is a rookie level skill, but even so, why couldn't you do this regardless when you saw used arrows, Lara? Did you think they were just very straight snakes? Or were you leaving a trail so you can find your way back to camp? Or did you not want to get blood on your hands? Because it's a bit late for that, if I'm honest.
I don't think she survived the war.
Thanks so much for watching this video about the video game skills we can't believe we had to unlock. You think you'd be able to do all that stuff naturally, but no. Got to spend all my precious skill points on it that I've been hoarding for good stuff and not whistling and falling asleep. Anyway, if you want to watch more videos from us, then why not check out this video, which is about the joke fighting game characters who are actually way more powerful than they look. And if you want to watch something from our lovely sister channel Outside Extra, then check out this video, which is about starter weapons that were the best weapons in the entire game. So that's a lot of fun. Check those out, and thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.